Thank heavens this young lady brought this Ford Expedition to us because it's full of surprises. Let's find out what they are. Let's get started. This is a Ford Expedition with the 3-valve Triton V8 that I've warned all of you guys never to buy. They are trash. Some of you out there say, well, I got one, it's running just fine. Just wait. Just wait. This one has 298,000 miles. And it's amazing it's made it this far until we show you some data here in a minute. But the customer brought it here because a friend or brother or something has told her that something's wrong with the rear heater core and a possible wheel bearing issue. The driver's door handle is broken and an oil change. She's concerned about those issues, wants to find out what it's going to take to get it fixed. And I'm so glad that she brought it here because once we reveal the data, this is a situation where if we were not an honest shop, I could already sense I could take this poor lady to the cleaners. I could really clean her out on her bank account. So let's go ahead and take a look around this thing. It's a little dirty. Welcome to living in the country in Kansas. Bugs, dirt, mud, and gunk. That's the name of the game of living in the country in Kansas. Many of us have seen this front end and this type of vehicle. There's millions of these on the road. You can see it is very, very dirty. Some of you might wonder, why don't they wash their car? Why don't they bring it in clean? And we have lived in the country in Kansas before, and as soon as you get it clean, it will be dirty immediately the same day all over again. It almost doesn't make sense. But here's the door handle issue. You cannot get in from that handle. It is broken. This doesn't seem like a very big deal. The tag light bar is hanging by tape. It is also a piece of trim, but I know there's a cop out there somewhere that would love to give this person a ticket because it's not aimed properly or a bulb is out or something like that. We'll see if we can propose to her a quick fix to at least re-adhere this on the brackets and get that taken care of for her. And going down this side is equally dirty, but it's not caved in or beat up, and it doesn't appear to be severely rusted. Let's hop under the hood. And here is my personal most hated engine on planet Earth. They are absolute trash. They're garbage. I don't care if yours is still running, they're garbage. I personally have replaced 14 of these, and it's around 6 or 7 grand a pop. I've done many videos in the past where I've shown pages and pages and pages that I print off of Identifix showing multiple shops all over the country what their fix was for this issue with the engines. There's oil passages in the block that get crud and things blocked off, and oil pressure can no longer make it to the cam phasers. Cam phasers and timing chains does not fix that issue. It is a very, very serious design flaw with these engines, and if you watch that video with the link in the description below, you'll see over 500 engines across the country, and that's just the reported ones. There's probably thousands and thousands of them. I've made personally a lot of money off these engines. They are not good. Some people swear the cam phasers fix it. I learned a long time ago where my mentor where I used to work did a cam phaser job, timing chains. It lasted about 3 months and it came back clacking louder than the last time. We talked to actually Jasper, who is an engine remanufacturer, and they came and explained to us that they have to gun drill really long drills, some oil passages that are in the block, to clean out the crud and make the passages bigger because it doesn't take very much to block off those passages. So when you apply oil pressure to the cam phasers, no oil pressure goes there because it's blocked off. Cam phasers are not going to fix that problem. Timing chain is not going to fix that problem. It's a design flaw and it's trash. I really don't like these engines. And let me prove something to you. This has 298,000 miles and you think, well, this engine's made it that far. No, it didn't. Let me show you some data that actually the customer wasn't even aware of. They didn't even tell us about it until Daniel opened the door. Let's take a look. This is really strange. Normally you don't see this data written on the door, but I'm glad it is. Look at that, guys. New engine at 288,126 about a year ago. Oh, it did get a new engine. Yeah, that's not surprising. I am not surprised in the slightest on a 3-valve Triton at all. So let's go back under the hood and talk a little bit more about this. So the customer said that her brother had told her something about the rear heater core. It was leaking or something's wrong. Danielson checked it out. There's no leaks. He pressure tested it. no issues. Also, it has nice hot heat in the back. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to the rear hatch. Right through these fins is an intake, and if you look in this hatch up above, there's a second HVAC box. This isn't the one that's under the dash. This is back here at the back seat. It has its own blower motor, heater core, and everything like that. Danielson pressure tested it and looked for leaks. There are none. When he turns it on, it blows nice hot heat. There's no issue with it. And we actually contacted the customer and said, we don't see anything wrong with the heater core. Do you have any reasoning behind looking at it or replacing it? She goes, I don't know. My brother said to look into it. We don't see anything wrong with that at this moment. We'll drive it a few more times, but currently there's nothing wrong with the rear heater core. So let's get this thing up in the air and check out this wheel bearing issue. So let's go ahead and give this thing a full check over and see what we find. It does have some sort of an oil leak. I don't know why on a new engine it would be doing that. I have a suspicion here. I've heard people say I put a new alternator on, or I put a new radiator in, or I put a new starter on. But it's not new. It's used. I have a feeling this is a new, used engine. It doesn't appear to be a brand new 10,000 mile old engine. Something's not adding up here. So some people, when they come in and they tell me I just put a new this or that, I know in my mind it may actually not be new. It's just new as in replaced. Those are a lot of keywords I've had to learn over the years when dealing with customers. You really got to listen, because this does not look like a new engine. Yeah, it's got a front main seal leak. It's leaking all over the oil pan there. We'll let her know about it. Let's check out these brakes and suspension. The brakes are about 80% remaining. The CV boots are good. Nothing blown on the struts. Sway bar link is not loose. And not even a 1/10 of an inch of play. No play at all there. So that side's good. Our strut is not blown. CV boots are good. Brakes are about 80%. No play at all there. So we see there's an oil leak coming from the valve cover gasket up there. That's kind of sad from a, quote, new engine. And we see the lower oil pan, the gasket is starting to seep there as well. Our drive shaft is in good shape. Here's our transmission. Nice and dry, no leaks going on there. Our transfer case back here is leak-free. Although I don't know if it's ever been serviced with the fluid or anything, but currently it is not leaking and does not have any issues that we know of. Looks like it's had a little Flowmaster 10 series put on. Our rear drive shaft is good. Let's check back here. Brakes are about 80 or 90%. CV boots are good. Sway bar link is good. Uh-oh. I see something, guys. Watch, this control arm's going to move right here, but the shock isn't. That's not a wheel bearing, that's a shock. But let's check for a wheel bearing. Nothing loose there. Definitely have a broken shock there. Brake pads are 80-90%. CV boots are good. Sway bar link is good. This strut is still attached, but barely. Look down in there, guys. It's about to snap as well. Not good. So the customer was concerned as a wheel bearing, possibly a noise or something, but how do they know what it was or a noise they were hearing? Wheel bearings can make some strange noises. When you're driving, they can make a dull roaring noise that increases with miles per hour. Not RPM, but miles per hour. And it can sound like a while you're going down the road. Also, you can do some little turns like this, kind of sharp little jiggles while you're on the road. And if it's a wheel bearing, when the load transfers to that wheel, it'll get louder as you put load on that wheel. It definitely will make a noise. And even if it's not making a noise, the wheel itself will be physically loose. Something's wrong. Danielson took this on a drive. He doesn't know about this yet. I just found this. This is new. But he said it's quiet as a mouse. It's making no noises. He did the whole jiggle thing. the wheel bearings are fine. Another thing you can do with wheel bearings is, if you're somewhat mechanically inclined, you can put it up on jack stands where the wheel's off the ground and spin it by hand and see if you can hear any clicking or roaring noises that way. That's one way you can check, and also for looseness. For struts and suspension, really you go over bumps, you can hear some loud clunks, or it's real floaty, it won't settle down, it's constantly bouncing. That's when your struts are blown out. With this broken strut, when the load of the vehicle rests on it, you really can't tell, and probably when they hit a large bump, it's making noises. But now we know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the wheel bearings are fine, but their rear struts absolutely are not. It's dangerously bad. Let's get this thing back on the ground. So, heater core in the back, we have nowhere to go. It doesn't leak. It runs great. It puts out good heat. There's no issues with it at all. We'll maybe have the customer call our brother and say, what's the deal? What's going on with this heater core situation? We don't have anything to go on. It doesn't have any issues. Wheel bearings, they're fine. But there's definitely something broken. You guys just saw those rear struts are completely demolished. They're trash. We also see it says new engine, 288,000 miles. That's a lie. That is not a 10,000 mile engine. It's leaking oil, it's old. It's probably a new, used engine. That didn't get clarified with what's on the door. And it's obviously not a remanufactured engine or a new engine. It's a used engine, it's gotta be. Luckily it runs good, it's running fine, there's no issues with the engine. How much life does it have left in it? I have no idea. I don't even know how many miles are on that engine. They're not a good engine to begin with. But it's almost at 300,000 miles. If it goes another few years, that's probably all they can hope for. You're not going to get 500, 600, 700,000 miles out of this vehicle. I doubt it. But I definitely want to do a video to show you guys if we were a very untrustworthy shop, I could really rob this poor lady. She's only like 20, 22 years old. I'm not sure her age exactly. She's a young lady. She's not mechanically inclined. I could say, oh yeah, you need a heater core. You need all 4 wheel bearings. You need this and that. It's going to be $7,000. And she'd be like, oh my God. And then I could scare her and say, if you don't get it fixed, it could crash. It's a safety concern. You better do it. And she would probably come up with the money and get it fixed. There's some shops out there like that, guys. I really like to push this when we have vehicles come in that have a scenario where really you could run a long ways to stealing money from people. Make sure when you find a shop, you start small. Start with an oil change, maybe an alternator, and work your way up and earn the trust of that shop. Don't just go to a random shop and hope that they're trustworthy. They may not be. Our name is well known all around the world, so the brother of this customer knows they were going to get an honest deal here. I'm glad that they sent it here. Thank you, brother, whoever you are. We got exactly what's wrong with the suspension. We know what's wrong with that. We're still working on the heater core, but it's not going to be thousands and thousands of dollars, but we'll need a new door handle, 2 rear struts, and probably an oil change. And we're going to see if we can do the light bar, the tag light bar in the back. I'm not sure if they're going to pay for that or not, but we will offer it to see if they'd like to do it. So if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this Expedition or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. All the tools we use in the shop are listed for sale there, and if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because there's so many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.